Okay.
Rolling.
Okay, so where should I be looking?
Into the camera.
Okay, good. All right, so you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start with questions, Kelly?
Sure. So when Janet and I were looking at these slides from last year, there was a section on the roadmap. Can you explain? And I know that was a question as we went through and did the prototype. What is a roadmap? And I think we might have each come up with our own version of what that is.
Yeah. So, do you want some history on it first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the bulk of what.
Yes.
We'll
Okay.
use.
Okay. So let's rewind all the way back to when the charter was made for the CAPS program. You know, really what happened is that there was such a short window of time and not enough money to really use the traditional curriculum development process that it really forced innovation. You know, typically when you don't have as much time or money or any of those variables, you have to operate differently. So what we knew is that we'd have to look at the curriculum development process differently than traditional education because not enough time, not enough money, and we were expected to have a curriculum that was going to be driven by industry and constantly change. So what we did is we took a look at where is it in industry, let's look at our business partners, who does this type of thing, where they are constantly changing their product. So if you will, imagine that a curriculum is a product, right? It's something you can look at, it's tangible, and it's something that's been built. So what we did is we looked at product development in the industry world, and lo and behold, we found what is called rapid prototyping. Well, those two words are commonly not used in education. First of all, rapid, and that means that it's very fast and developed and designed very quickly. But prototyping is where you actually give a sample of what you think the end product is going to look like to test it, to see if the customer really likes it, to see if this is really going to be valuable without putting a lot of time and money into it. So rapid prototyping were the keys that what we brought back into the educational world and laid over the curriculum development process. So let me give you an example of one company that does a great job of rapid prototyping their product. Think of Apple and think of the iPad. When the iPad first came out, it had certain types of criteria and certain types of features. They pushed it out to their customer base and they heard back feedback, things like, you know, we really need a USB port on this thing, and here are some of the things that should be better. That product was brought back in, changed, pushed back out, iPad 2. Feedback was given, and customers gave lots of feedback. Product brought back in, iPad 3. That's the iterative, rapid prototyping that we do with curriculum, exactly like that, because you are going to constantly see change in the curriculum at CAPS because we've created a process just like an industry product process that allows for that constant change, but not very expensive because you're really never done with it. You're constantly changing it. So that's what we did. We literally took an idea from industry and we cross-pollinated. Basically, we took it from industry and we laid it over a totally different market, education, and we came up with a solution that works for the CAPS program. And what's interesting is that if we would have tried to just tweak or change the curriculum development process in education, we never would have come up with this type of a groundbreaking process because we would have stayed right in the educational system. Because we overlaid a different industry over the same problem, in education, we created something totally different. And so that is what drives the uniqueness of how we develop curriculum. I think the other thing that people usually have a hard time understanding is, how do we start with industry expectations and then we backward map that into high school credit and then college credit? Because if you start the other way around, you start with high school credit kinds of courses and you try and position that with industry partners, it never works. So that was the other thing that was kind of challenging at first, is to listen to the industry partners for what was the most important skill sets that they felt were valuable now and into the future, and then how would that skill set qualify for a high school credit and a college credit. And so that was the, I guess we called it backward mapping or reverse engineering of the actual curriculum, which made it always, if we stuck with industry standards, we were always going to be doing more and more rigorous than a high school or a college class. I think the another area that we've learned a lot about is that this process, once you have engaged business partners and the university folks in the prototyping process, you have then created guest lecturers, you've created guest speakers, you've got business partners that will give you projects and ultimately might even be able to help fund this program because they're so engaged in it. They own the work and they won't let it fail. And so without engaging them up front, you lose that connectivity from the university partnership and also the business partnership. And so that's another piece that we learned, sometimes the hard way, of not engaging them up front. Okay, so let me just stop and then did we miss anything that